Howdy, oh, what do you know, it is Rabbit of Scrublead Academy, and this is lore for Scrubs, the Wylkeses. The Wilkes family of Capital City is unlike the remaining coin lords in that they were not born pirates, smugglers, or criminals. Though Yulon Wilkes practiced piracy, he never committed to it, and his calling as private won him over in quick time. He worked diligently to serve King Galifar as a seafarer, earning his reputation as a military man before long and a terror to pirates soon after. Born sorcerers, the Wylkeses are a collective of human, elf, and half-elf members. The Wylkeses became Stormlords with the signing of the Stormreach Compact, as a personal demand by the king for Capital City's independence. Though permitted to act as Stormlord, Yulon Wilkes was never welcome in Capital City. He became the Harbor Master, a title that forced him to live outside Capital City proper. His family took up residence in what would become the Inspired Quarter, as one of the first buildings to form the district. Despite their distance, Yulon Wilkes didn't mind the divide as much as the other lords might have hoped. Being Harbor Master, and the Stormlords being who they were, he was able to claim a full monopoly on his own trade to mirror theirs. Since Capital City was a port city that relied heavily on outside trade to survive, he was able to set docking and shipping rates which were quite high given the Dragonmarked House's keen interest in the artifacts being found all about Xandrick. Yulon exploited their desire to explore the continent, as at the time there were no other major points of contact between Xandrick and the rest of the world. Yulon Wilkes became rich, one of the wealthiest members of the Stormlords, surpassed only in his prime by Yorick Amanatu, who controlled the military and was able to institute trading rates within Capital City proper. Yulon's family power ran basically unchecked. Yorick, for example, lived his obsession with physical dominion, which Yulon never challenged. Delira and her descendants had no chance to curb anybody's success, their own floundering terribly from the very beginning. The Lassites had a reputation as non-violent brewmasters and spokespeople, and Kala Silshadra's seedier operations and particular military inferiority did not do his role as law enforcer justice. None of the other lords were suited to halting Yulon's rise to power, and they cared even less to pay him any attention at all. Due to their punished status as outsiders, even among the city that they co-ruled alongside the Coin Lords, the Wylkeses felt none of the problems of the Amarn Revolt, an event that primarily took place in the sewers and streets of the marketplace. The Wylkeses had no stake in the conflict, and Castel Amarn did not target them in the slightest. When Yorick beat Castel and openly executed the Amarn Patriarch, the Wylkeses did not attend the execution. In the attack on Capital City by the Battalion of the Basalt Towers, the Wylkeses, rather than help Yorick defend the city from an offensive from the west and south, massed to retreat by sea from the offending forces. They had never been welcome in Capital City, never been a part of the Stormlords organization to that point, and had very little stake in a doomed city. When York City Guard met the descendants of the Sulat League in open conflict, it was apparent they'd be massacred. The Sorcerer family, despite their powers, would be able to do almost nothing to change the tide of battle against the battalion's meteor-throwing artifact. The walls came down, the ships raised sail, and the Giants of Rushmay swarmed the battalion's forces from their southwestern flank. Brutal combat ensued, and the City Guard rushed into even the battlefield in melee combat, and the Fire Giants fled northwest after suffering near-quarter losses of their total forces. The Wylkeses, rather than return to port, circled around to the northern walls of Capital City. The battalion was not done. Their attack on the north was reinforced by other giants, their fervor intense, but the battle had already been evened, as they left the Husafudge behind on the rotting corpse of their fallen commander. Then the Wilkes ships opened fire, and the family sorcerers struck out with attacks of their own, quickly learning the Fire Giants' weakness to cold powers. The Giants, now flanked on 3 sides rather than 2, had no choice but to flee again. Barely half of them made it out alive, and none of them brazen enough to strike at Capital City for decades to come. The Wylkeses finally earned a seat at the table alongside the Amarans, Lassites, and Yorick himself. They bore witness to the levity Yorick bestowed on the Amarans, and due to their brave attack on the Giants, the Wylkeses were brought into the fold as well. A united Stormreach, Yorick promoted, would be far stronger than a fractured city. Their status increased with the interested party that was House Lyrandar. Long-standing trade partners, the Lyrandars were always held in check by legislation in the form of the Korth Edicts, which prevented land ownership by Dragonmarked houses, as well as curbed each house's overall growth and had systems to prevent marriages with regal political figures. When Yorick left the city, it fell to the other Stormlords to take over rulership that he had abandoned, which included enforcing law and order in the city. A young Graydon Wilkes, who took control of House Wilkes around this time, kept his house on track with his dominion as Harbor Lord. He was a lawful man, ensuring that he followed to the letter the court edicts, which House Lyrandar largely saw as an inconvenience to their negotiations with Capital City. Despite that, there was always the chance that they could buy the Stormlord out, or, failing that, just wait out his reign. Graydon's dealings with House Lyrandar increased over the years, giving Lyrandar hope that they would be able to emulate House Kandaric's shirking of the court edicts, which technically held power in Capital City, but were unenforceable there. Graydon, though, never permitted them to own land, nor to get too close to his socialite son, Jonas Wylkes, who had been the target of House Lyrandar's representative in Xendric's dealings, Calandon de Lyrandar. Graydon's death, under suspicious but unknown circumstances, saw the foolish Jonas Wylkes becoming patriarch of the Wylkes line, following the tradition that Wylkes heirs should be the eldest male sorcerers of the family. With Graydon out of the way, through convenient circumstances, almost immediately Calandon pounced, opting to use a famously beautiful half-elf captain of one of his ships, Lazria de Lyrandar, to romance Jonas. Through this, Calandon finally managed to bypass some of the edicts, coming to own the Falconer Spire in the marketplace. House Lyrandar's business almost doubled in Capital City over this time, and they became a near monopoly for imports and travel between the larger Capital City and Corvair, only contested in minuscule part by House Orion's expensive teleporter network. Compounding the threat to the Wylkeses' position is the connection that Jonas has to the Golden Lions, a gang of aristocratic socialites that take it upon themselves to patrol the streets of Capital City, though usually not for altruistic reasons. Usually, they take out grudges on those who have affronted them or pose a threat to their families, and those same families, many of whom are members of the Aurum, are likely to seek vengeance against anyone who would threaten to harm them. It truly pays to have all the monies. With Jonas at the head of the family, the Wylkes' reputation has suffered, but their identity is also being consumed by Calandon de Lyrandar, who has taken it upon himself to be the mentor of Jonas. Calandon's occupation of, and power in, the harbor threatens to surpass that of the Wylkeses, which would leave them without a purpose there except as glorified harbor masters. Considering Jonas's dangerous ties to the Aurum and underground entertainment gangs, the future of House Wylkes is in dire trouble, and even the House Matriarch, Tulia Wylkes, is at her wit's end. She laments the condition her family finds itself in, but discovers that, perhaps, the only way to ensure that the Wylkes line lives on is to follow in the suspicious footsteps of Calandon himself, and see to it that her eldest son meets a mysterious accident of his own. Her disgust that this is even a possibility holds her back, but until something is done, the Wylkeses are liable to continue to fade, making theirs the most vulnerable house in the modern age.